So far, we have taken a look at what is meant by target market, what is target marketing, what is the rationale and the logic behind these concepts, why do we need to segment the market. And in this video, I, Dr. Mariam Naruna, will be walking you through the different types of segmentation approaches which marketers can use. So broadly, there are three types of segmentation or three bases on which markets are segmented. One is demographic, that is population characteristics. The other is geographic, depending on where people live. And the third one is psychographic, which is connected with attitudes, interests, opinions, and lifestyles of consumers. So let's take a look at what each of these classifications or each of these types of segmentation means. Demographic segmentation recognizes consumers based on their population characteristics. So age, gender, income, occupation, all these things are considered when you segment the market based on demography. Now, the logic behind this is that our needs when we are babies obviously are different from when we become toddlers, then move to children, being children, preteens, teenagers, young adults, and senior citizens, so on and so forth. So in senior citizens also, you may have somebody who's 60 years old. His needs and requirements would be very different from somebody who's 80 or 90 years old. So demographic segmentation recognizes the fact that people are different based on various population characteristics. So demographic segmentation classifies consumers based on age, gender, income, occupation, marital status, race, religion, so on and so forth. Now, we've already spoken a little bit about how age impacts our needs as consumers. So, a baby's needs are very different from the needs of a senior citizen, or say from the needs of a child or a teenager. So, a baby will not really be in a position to take a buying decision or influence his parents to purchase something, but a teenager or a young adult would be in that position. Then gender, this is based on our gender. We have different needs, requirements, we consume different kinds of goods and services, we dress differently, we need different kinds of personal care products, hygiene products. Then income directly impacts our ability to purchase items and to consume them. So somebody with a high income would be able to say buy a Mercedes, but somebody with a limited income might be able to buy only a two-wheeler or might choose to travel by bus. So these differences are there and they do impact. Then occupation. Now, depending on your occupation, if you're in the IT sector, you would need at least a good laptop, some gadgets which you need to use on a day-to-day basis. So your occupation might require you to purchase certain kinds of products. You might need to invest in those items because you have that particular occupation. Then marital status, this also impacts your buying decisions, because when you're single, the income is all in your hand and you are the only person you need to spend and save for. But then when you're married, your needs change. If you're divorced, your needs again change, because it impacts, finally all these things impacts your income and your spending ability. Then race, we've seen that owing to race we have different skin tones, different hair types, and that we can see very obviously in, say, cosmetic products. So, lipstick shades which are worn by women in Asia, say Southeast Asia, those are very different from our part of Asia. Then, women with darker skin may have different kinds of needs as far as not only shades go, but the type of products which they use for their hair and skin, though that their needs differ, the composition of the products differs. And religion leads us to, say, eat kosher, eat halal, or eat vegetarian, for example. Not consume certain kinds of drinks because we subscribe to a particular school of thought. And so this is how markets can be segmented based on demography. Geographic segmentation, the basis for this is where people live, in which part of the world, in which part of the country, in which part of the city, and automatically we find that people who live in certain locations, they have a certain kind of lifestyle or consumption pattern, or their needs are different based on where they live and the weather conditions in that place, the availability of natural resources in that place. So, geographic segmentation is carried out based on urban, rural, and suburban, as well as region, country, and continent wise segmentation. Now, I'll explain these one by one. Now, let us take rural, urban, and suburban. So, we don't really see a McDonald's in a village. If you're driving through a village, most unlikely that you will see a McDonald's in a village. But would you see it in an urban area? Definitely. Would you see it in a suburb? Probably. Why? Because people in rural India would not be consuming pizzas. That is not their lifestyle. They probably would consider it a whole lot of money to spend on one meal. But when you come to urban areas and suburbs, you will find that consumption pattern is very different. The way people look at money, or the money value that they are ready to derive from consumption of a certain product, all this changes. So you'll find that if there is a real estate project located in the suburbs, so then what really happens is it would be cheaper than when it is located in the heart of the city. And then the type of people who would like to live in the suburbs would be people who are looking for fairly affordable accommodation when compared to somebody who's ready to shell out crores of rupees to stay in the heart of the city. Then region, country, and continent wise segmentation. So we see this that in the north, south, east, west, if we take off a particular country, say in our own country, we see that our food habits, our needs and requirements with regard to, you might never wear woolens if you're in the western and southern parts of India, but you would definitely need a lot of woolen warm clothes if you're living in the north. You would eat a lot of wheat if you are living in the north. You might prefer rice, or you will eat a lot of rice. You will consume a lot of coconut when you are living in the south. So similarly, now if you look at country wise segmentation, you'll find that the market for, say, gold in the UAE is very different from the market for gold in India. The types of designs and the items also of jewelry which are worn and purchased frequently, those could be very different. When you see how a bride in the US would wear very minimal jewelry, but if you're getting married in India, particularly if you're getting married down south somewhere, you would be wearing a lot of gold. Then continent wise segmentation, as I mentioned in my previous slide, I said that depending on where we live, depending on which part of the world we are living, we would have a different height, different skin type, different skin tone, and that would impact the way we buy items and what kind of products we consume. Psychographic segmentation is connected with our attitudes, interests, opinions, values, and lifestyle. That is the kind of behavior we depict based on these characteristics, and finally, it impacts our choices as a consumer. So, psychographic segmentation is carried out on the basis of attitude, and by attitude, we mean a perspective, a way of looking at things. It is not just necessarily a positive or negative attitude, it could be something like being an adventurous person. If you are an adventurous person, you and probably you're a woman, you'd like to travel alone. So solo women travelers, they have a certain attitude. People who indulge in adventure sports, they have a daredevil attitude. So those kind of factors come into consideration. Then interests, these are things which you like, which you enjoy. So you may like to travel, you may enjoy art, you may enjoy design, you may enjoy music. So supposing you enjoy music and you like jazz, you'd probably prefer a restaurant where they have a jazz performance, or they have some music playing, or if you're somebody who likes to go for open mic events, you'd like to go to a bar probably where such events happen. Then values. Now your values are basically linked with what you think is right and what you think is wrong. So your values might lead you to adopt the use of cosmetics which are not tested on animals, or your values might lead you to take a decision where you say that you're going to opt for eco-friendly products. Why? Because you think that you have a role to play in the bigger picture, and you can start by making a change at the individual level. Opinions. Now what do you think, what do you think about something? Now this obviously, opinions really matter, say in politics. This is why we find that even political parties use a lot of advertising, and it's always linked with our opinions, how we think, what's our view on a certain matter. Then our beliefs, this could be our religious beliefs or our beliefs about ourselves as individuals. So you might choose to consume a certain product, or choose not to consume it because of your religious beliefs. So you might look for a halal restaurant wherever you go, or you might choose to eat only kosher because you have certain beliefs, or you have a belief where you think that going vegan is better for the planet. So those kind of beliefs are also there as part of psychographic segmentation. So I hope you found this video on types of segmentation informative. Next up, I will be discussing how to select the target market. And meanwhile, I request you to go through the previous videos if you have not. And don't forget to hit the like button if you like the content in this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel And please don't forget to share it with any students who you think might derive benefit from the educational content that is available here. Thank you.